check 1 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Get on that YMCA schedule. Gyms is about to be closed. What are you going to do?
The rec centers are closed too.
I say they're definitely about to close.
They're
the Y.
closed. Yeah.
Everything is closing. Into business today.
8:00.
That's why we bought my dad this $2,000 elliptical. I'm about to go get every penny out of it.
He gonna watch you on it.
Yeah, he needs to be using it. And I also got them 25-pound dumbbells. I feel like everybody that went to play football has the iron ones. So just take them home and be this. And that.
Welcome to Kevin and Tanisha's Mix It Up.
Where we're going to discuss everything from our family and friends. Oops.
You need to.
What?
Don't sound like you're in the auditorium.
I just tried to do that. Check.
All right. Welcome to Kevin and Tanisha's Mix It Up.
Where we're going to discuss everything from our similarities and differences,
Family and friends,
son and daughter,
home and work.
and how it all impacts our marriage, parenting, relationships, faith, and beyond.
Let's mix it up. Let's go.
Cool. Welcome back to Kevin and Tanisha Mix It Up. Today, we're going to be talking about no new friends. No new friends. No new friends. I'm not going to do the next part. No, I am. No new friends. So, we started out as friends a long time ago. And I think we're still friends. Some weeks we're better friends than other weeks. But today, that's what we're talking about. How do we navigate friendships?
Yeah.
While in a relationship, while married? How has that affected us? How difficult has it been for us? How easy has it been for us? What friendships have lasted? What are things that worked? All that good stuff. And we have a special guest today, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
First, we're going to start out with a would you rather. So, Tanisha, would you rather have one best friend, like the true meaning of a best friend, absolutely best friend, can tell them anything, do things with them, love them, all that, or no best friend and just a handful of pretty close friends? So not quite a best friend, but y'all text every now and then, might check in on them, check in on each other, do things together, but like they're not that best friend.
I would say a handful of close friends because I already have my best friend.
That doesn't count.
It
That's
does
not the
count.
question.
I don't need, so I would rather have a bunch of close friends because in my experiences, one best friend kind of creates barriers.
To what?
Okay. And unrealistic expectations. So having a bunch of close friends, I'm able to, create different relationships and have different feedback and enjoy multiple people than having to feel like I can only spend time with one person.
So that's what you have now, kind of?
Yeah, I have a lot of close friends.
Well, any close friends that are listening that thought you were best friends, that's rough.
That's rough. I'm sorry.
You know where you lie. You know where you stand with my wife.
Well, and I mean, I don't really have enough time to spend with people, so I just feel like having a bunch of close friends, I can say, "Hey, are you available?" And if you're not, you're not. If you are, let's do something.
Cool.
So, all right. Would you rather go on an all-inclusive vacation with a group of your close friends or do the same thing with your best friend?
I don't have a best friend.
Me.
Oh, I'm definitely going on an all-inclusive vacation with a group of close friends. Then.
What?
It's like, nah, that don't count. What? I'm your you can only be my best friend in this scenario?
No, but it's would you rather?
Would I rather go on an all-inclusive vacation with you or with a group of close friends,
Yeah.
you've set me up for failure.
No, just answer.
You've completely set me up for failure. Well, in the context of today, I rather go on an all-inclusive vacation with you because we haven't done that in 8 years.
Okay.
So that would be fun and exciting and relaxing. But in a world where we get to travel and spend a lot of time together, it'd be fun to go out on a vacation with my close friends. I've never went anywhere with my close friends, a group of close friends. It's been a really long time. I mean, I went on a trip last year with a group of somebody else's close friends. So that was fun. I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't like all of my people. Yes. Like I got to know them. But the last time I traveled somewhere with more than one close friend was in college, and it was more work related than anything else. Like we weren't just kicking it.
Man, you really over-explained this. Would you rather? Thank you for that. I'm
sure if we go back and look at the timestamp, your explanation was a lot longer. So, cool. So our background in terms of friendships is like you probably heard if you listen to some of the previous episodes, we have been in a relationship since high school. So
since we were 16.
It's been 16 years that we've been in relationship with each other. So that's pretty crazy. And through all of that time, be it we had little breaks here and there, but everybody really knew us as being together. So all of our friends, our best friends at the time, our new friends, anybody who's ever met us.
That's because you never brought your breaks around. That's why. My
breaks around? I don't know what that means.
When we had our breaks, you never brought them around.
I'm confused by what bringing a break around means. Is that new slang that I don't know about? Okay. Well, my point was that we've always had, everyone who knew us as a couple. So it's just always existed. Kevin and Tenisha, they're a couple. But at some point, it was easier. It was easier, and then at some point, it got harder. I don't really know why. And that's what we're here today to kind of pinpoint. But when we were, I think in high school, we didn't spend as much time together. We didn't live together. We didn't have kids together. It was easy to have best friends. I was closer with my friends probably than I was to you. We focused on just that lovey-dovey stuff. And friends, we did friend things. And we're in college. It was similar. We didn't live together. We didn't, we still had time for other people. And then I'd say, what, you don't think so?
And I mean, I think also we did a lot of things together. Like we went to the clubs together. We, for the most part, a lot of the groups that you hung with, I could get along with and vice versa. So it was easy, though we were with our friends, we were still able to be together. So it just made it easier.
Yeah, and it was fun. Even our single friends, like we brought people together. I think that was a cool part of our relationship. We brought people together, single friends that were like in couples or in relationships, which we didn't have a lot of. But it was just fun. It was about going out, having a good time, and nobody had like real responsibilities besides maybe a few people had rent to pay and Verizon bill to cover.
Just trying to make it home.
Yeah. So then we transitioned into marriage. We decided to get married at
super young.
Yeah. So what, 22?
We were 20. No, what? We were 24 when we got married.
Well, yeah, but we proposed at 23. No, we were 22. Proposed at 22, got married at 23, had Gavin at 24. Something like that. We were young. Fact check. We could fact check. But we were young. We were early in our 20s. So everybody else was.
How you not going to know when you proposed to me?
Man, I don't focus on numbers. I
Okay.
focus on
Okay.
the heart. I knew what my heart was at the time,
Okay.
not what the date was at
All
the time.
right. All right.
So what I realized is
We were the only ones who got married
Yeah.
out of our friends.
right then and there.
Right then and
then
there.
we had other friends that like followed suit, not saying they were following us, but they got married closer to us, but they were older.
Yeah.
It made, I guess, more social sense for them to be getting married. We weren't around a bunch of people who got married young. We weren't like, I'm involved in church now, and that's the culture of the church, is to get married young. But at that time, we weren't really around those people. We didn't have, everybody around us wasn't getting married. All of our friends weren't married. They were still single.
Yeah.
So that, I think, started to play a role. But we got engaged, we got married. A few months in, nothing really seemed to change.
A few months in, I was pregnant.
Yeah, but we still had friends.
Yeah.
Our friends weren't not our friends anymore.
Yeah.
We were still hanging out with people, still going out, still doing things. And then we had Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
And
we bought a house.
We bought a house, and we started having responsibility and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So our mentality might have changed, but friendships were still there, still the same. We weren't adding new friendships to the mix. I think that happens a lot when people get married and have kids, like new friends come about. That didn't really happen for us.
No.
But Gavin grew up, things happened, he got older, not a ton changed. Like, people were excited, I think, about having a relationship with our son, and it was like a new thing for everybody. And I think the turning point to a lot of friendships was when Ava came about.
I think for me, though, the turning point for me was when I had Gavin, because my mentality and I wasn't into going out. Like, I wanted to be home more than I wanted to be out, especially after working 8 hours and him being in daycare. It was like I needed to be more accessible to my child than my friends. So my priorities became different.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't disregard the fact that those relationships were also valuable to me. But I know that I chose to have this child, and he has to be my primary focus.
Yeah. And this husband.
And I chose to have a husband. So
Amen.
He falls suit too.
Primary focus.
Primary focus.
Yes. Yeah. And we had to learn.
Yeah.
We had to learn how to manage like marriage and life with a kid and owning a house that we probably shouldn't have bought because we really didn't have the money to fix it up like we thought we would. Having new jobs and growing the same job, like, it was a learning curve for us.
Yeah.
And I bet at the same time it was a real learning curve for our friends.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when we had the second kid, especially when Ava came about, because then it was even less time. Gavin was still young. He still had immediate needs. He still relied on mom and dad for everything. And now we have two that rely on mom and dad for everything. And in those moments where we have two heavily reliant kids, or two things, or a lot of things going on in life, my wife really loves to add a third. So we added a dog, puppies,
Okay,
and
well,
we're going to add more puppies.
That dogs are valuable
Mm-hmm.
components to a family. Like, no matter how mad you are or upset or annoyed, your dog's relationship towards you remains the same
Until you get rid of it.
Yeah, and then you buy a new one.
All right. So through all of this, we're learning how to navigate friendships and relationships. Our friends are learning how to navigate relationships with us. So we thought it would be perfect to bring in a friend that has been here through almost all of it, through really the college years and beyond. So not through singleness, because we were never really single. Nobody can say that except my like middle school friends, and I left them a long time ago. And that person is one of our best friends, not just my best friend.
Yes.
Our best friends, our favorite DJ, the one, the only, the best DJ in the city, DJ Bern.
First thing I want to say is that I'm not on the Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on. Did the password change?
No, it didn't.
That's no big deal. Anyways. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I think this is an important topic, relationship-wise, and being able to navigate personal relationships and friendships. And I don't think we sit back and examine our relationships and why they are the way they are. So this is good. This is good knowledge here.
Cool.
Thanks.
So to start it off, we'll start off with that same one of those would you rather questions.
Okay.
So would you rather have one best friend, true meaning of a best friend, whatever that is for you, because it is different for different people, or just a bunch of close friends, a bunch of people, not a bunch, a handful that are just a little bit lower on that ladder, and why?
It's hard.
That is hard.
It's hard.
Because, the intimate relationship that you have with a best friend is good and is powerful and is necessary, but I also don't want to limit that to just one person, So I'd probably want the handful, and I would just use my time efficiently and try to cultivate all those relationships equally, even though it's hard to do. But yeah, the more the merrier. So handful.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, and 100% everyone probably knows that answer for DJ Bern.
Yeah.
Because you got 362 friends.
I mean, but really, there's only going to be like 8 or 9 of them at my wedding if I ever get married, to be honest.
But I will say he makes the time, and he's intentional with his time. I agree with that. He's very intentional with his time.
And that's why we really wanted Bern to be on this podcast today, because it is that intentionality that...
I feel like that's not a word.
Intentionality for sure.
Is
Fact check it. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I went to Marion Franklin.
I also went to public school, and I was an art major, so not English. English was not my
Well, he
specialty.
better know because he went for communications.
Got that degree from a university we shall not speak of. So we're still going to get to that story at some point over this podcast, so stay tuned. Intentionality, boom, fact check. Boom. That came from that university that we shall not speak of. With that though, that like there's something behind that. You had to make a choice at some point to like be friends with couples, because that's a hard thing. So we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to start just with a general, like, how the heck did we meet? What happened? When? Was it 2008?
Yeah, it had to be 07, 08.
Mm-hmm.
Right after our good friend Devin Thomas released his debut album. And the short story of it, he was looking for a DJ, and I just started DJing, and so we all got together and started to do this creative thing collectively.
I remember we met at a Potbelly's first time on campus. No longer there anymore. It's a sad day. Me and Trek used to go there about every day for lunch.
What's there now? The Canes?
Canes, yeah.
And every day for lunch, he would order this sandwich, 2 bags of chips, and like 2 IBCs. I knew his order. I never knew mine. Every day, no matter what. Turkey sandwich with cheddar, 2 bags of baked Lays. My guy, Trek. And I remember, it's crazy how the memory works. We can remember like verses from songs forever ago, but I remember you were wearing a blue hoodie.
Really?
And you had hair.
Oh, yeah. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Back before Twitter.
No beard. Everybody knows Bern
with the beard.
Beard.
You had no
Nobody
beard.
knows Bern with the hair and no beard.
The beard was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So shout out to my beard.
Shout out to your beard. Yeah, I mean, I guess, do you see a lot of Asian guys with beards?
Asian people in general don't really rock with facial hair. Facial hair is I feel like it's a Western culture thing. My mom used to hate it.
I'm sure.
She's like, "Why don't you shave that mess off your face?" I'm like, this is my character, lady.
This is my culture from this side.
This is me.
Cool. So yeah, we kind of, from that time on, it was about DJing and doing shows with Trek and promoting the Undefined brand, and which led to us going out together with our significant others.
Right.
Trek and Chantel, me and Tanisha,
me and whoever,
Bern and whoever he was with for that time.
Nobody, all these people that will remain nameless. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to all 6 of y'all.
And we kicked it.
Yeah.
Almost every weekend. It just became like it was our team. Like every weekend, if we were doing something or not, Wednesday nights at Icon for What Up Wednesdays or all of it. We just kicked it all the time. And that, I think, was an interesting thing. And we brought other people into the fold as well. And that's what it was. Our relationship, I think, was built around going out and having a good time. And from that,
I think initially it was built around music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what drew you guys together. And that's still what you guys talk about a lot. But
so, yeah, I mean, from then, something I would say very transactional, superficial, like let's go out and kick it. I don't know if it's superficial or not, but it's not like there's not a lot of depth that you need to go out and kick it with somebody. Like we just go out, have a good time, go home. I mean, you make memories, and we got a lot of memories. But we shall not speak of those memories. Because I am a better man now.
Listen, we're all constantly growing. So there's definitely a growth period for everybody.
For sure. But we went from that to like this true organic friendship, relationship, not only with you, but you and our kids and our family. Like you're the only non-family member at Thanksgiving. You know,
baby showers.
Or at baby showers.
Yeah.
Or, it was just a really interesting way that our friendship and our relationship grew while others were going away and depleting and dying. There was never ill will or like I never had big blow-ups with all of my best friends or anything like that. They just went away, and you're still constant, and we still figure out ways to see you and hang out. How does that happen?
I think we just all, first of all, I think it's a reflection of your guys' relationship, because the fact that you two get along for the most part, and you are both inviting when it comes to me, then that's why it lasts. Because a lot of times when I'm friends with somebody and they're in a relationship, if it doesn't work out, it's because the person they're dating doesn't get along with them, the person, first of all, so they don't like any of their friends.
Yes.
Or they're just really insecure, so they don't want to share their spouse with anybody. So that's why it doesn't work a lot of times. And I also feel like we're on the same page when it comes to a lot of things in life, when it comes to like goals and morals and things of that nature. So it's easy for us to all sit down and communicate with one another without it being awkward, because we all have things in common. And I might be more understanding than other people, because, you know, when it does come to relationships, once you get married, once you have kids, of course your focus switches to your immediate family. And I understand that. Other people don't. Like, other people might be a little more selfish when it comes to their time. Our friendship is not based on how much time we spend together. It's about how we feel about each other. And that doesn't waver with me, regardless of if you're busy or not, or if I don't see you every day, month, week, whatever. I already know what it is. So
yeah. Do you think?
I appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah. It's been we've had this conversation not on a podcast before, to really thank you for always being around and taking time out to show up. But like, can you pinpoint a reason maybe why you say, like, as a single guy, most of the time you've been single that we've known you.
Yeah.
I don't know that, you know.
He's been in transition.
He's been in transition. You're transitioning.
There's a bunch of transitions. Yeah.
Lots of transitions. But through all of it, even when you were in relationships with people, like, you never disappeared. What was it about those times where we were talking about that, oh, we have our first kid, our second kid, we got a house, things become more difficult for us, that you would hit us up and say, what you doing tonight? I'm coming through. Like,
or even when he lived in the different state, you know, he's
States.
well,
All
the
of them.
specific state, he still made it a point to stay here with us and spend time with us on top of all the other obligations that he had, and the purpose for him being here. So like, he made us a priority in some sense. So.
I don't know where that comes from, but I do know it's important to show up for the people that you care about.
You saw that on a Hulu commercial, didn't you?
I'm sure I heard that somewhere, but it stuck with me. No, seriously, it's important to show up for moments that are important, and I don't know when exactly that switched over. It might be because on top of us just kicking it, when I used to come work with y'all, like I think that was the transition to just a going out and kick it thing to like now I'm around you when you're at work. When I used to volunteer, I remember that. I don't know why I came to Magic Mountain that one time. Outside of y'all just asking me, but I don't know if I was just bored or what. that lock in, you know.
Yes,
but stuff like that. It's like if you ask me to do something like that, I mean, you could ask anybody, but you didn't. So it's important for me to show up to stuff like that. So as we go through all phases of life, like all these things are important. So like if I'm readily available, why not be a part of it and be some level of support, you know? So.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think, man, that's just so clutch. And I want to do that. I think for other people, and I catch myself all the time saying like, you need to check in on this person, right? But then it only becomes a check-in,
Right?
And it's like, yo, what's up? You good? Yeah, I'm good. Cool. Like check the box. I've made the effort. They made the effort. We're still friends because
That's it.
we texted each other, you know, but that, and I think that's what our friendship could have been.
Yeah.
But it was a intentionality of everybody to say, we're going to make time. And that can be really difficult, I think, for married couples to, especially with kids, to make time for anybody else, because people get really, really caught up, and righteously so, in their kids and spending time with their kids. Or it can be easier and they just have babysitters for their kids and they still kick it all the time and act like they don't have kids, and their marriage may suffer, their relationship with their kids may suffer. So it's like,
or the expectations of their relationships are different. I think, and their marriages are different. One of the things that I can say that Bern brought up that is true for us is a lot of people will like me and not like you.
Yeah, I'm not easily likable.
Contrary to what people believe, a lot of people really do like me.
They love you, and I don't get it.
And people do not like Kevin.
Everybody.
And so a lot of people, like, I can tell Kevin.
Even white people.
White people love me.
White people love you, and
like you. I mean,
no people like me.
No one. Your own kind.
It took a black and Asian guy to be the one that is pretty close to me.
So, and when Bern said that, it does make it a lot easier when both parties like the person. It really does. And I think also one of the things that I can appreciate about us is like, I can say to you, hey, I text Bern just to see how he was doing, or, you know, I'll text you and I say, hey, I was thinking about you, miss you, hope to see you soon. And there's no issues. Like, regardless of you being the opposite sex, there's no issues. And I appreciate that, because oftentimes people can interpret that differently when the intentions is like, I genuinely value our friendship and I want to let you know that, you know, I'm thinking of you.
I think this also works because I think we've had conversations about how when it doesn't work, and because we're all mindful people about the way other people feel, like if you guys say like, oh, this is not working with XYZ, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I don't want to be that burden, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I feel like we're just all on the same page as far as respecting each other's time, but as well also wanting to be intentional about the things that we do. And a lot of people just aren't that way. A lot of people keep up with you by just liking your stuff on social media.
Exactly.
I don't have to call you because I see what you're doing because you post it on Facebook, having no idea what's really going on. You just go off of what you see on social media, because people rarely post the tragedies,
right?
Like, unless you're looking for sympathy, which is that's a whole nother podcast. But yeah, so it's always good to just check in with people and say how you doing, or like there are people that I've noticed like stop posting stuff, and I'm like, man, I should reach out to them because maybe they're going through something. But I think the average person just looks through whatever they see on social media and just goes about their day. So yeah, it's just about being intentional, being intentionally wanting to be a part of somebody's life, and respecting what they have going on, and that's really what makes it work, in my opinion.
So
now, my biggest concern though is when you do get this spouse, how she's gonna take me.
So here's the thing:
she's not. Everybody likes you.
Yeah, they do, but
you're gonna be texting her man.
I can't be texting her man like I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while.
I don't think I would marry a person that wouldn't be okay with that.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably why I'm single now, because there's a lot of things that I just won't tolerate, and
a lot. Weave being one of them.
A lot.
So
there'll be someone on Instagram telling me like I should DM you. Oh, that's a wig. Never mind. Never mind. I don't want to maintain you in that wig. But no, so
financially for sure.
Yeah. Why is it so expensive? So I feel like whenever I do find somebody that I'm going to marry, like we got to be on the same page about everything, and that also goes to, you know, our relationships and our friendships. Like we got to all be friends, you know. So that's where I'm at with it.
That's good.
So do you feel like there's ever a point that you were putting in more to our friendship, doing more, reaching out more, like it was on your shoulders?
No.
Really?
I don't ever feel like well, you know, in general, I always feel like I could be doing more. Always, no matter what it is. So, and it's the same thing when it comes here. Like, I couldn't even think of a scenario where I would feel that way. Like,
I asked that because there was a point, like we talked about when we were younger, where we were coming to your house before we went out, or we were going to you. We were meeting you here. You were meeting us. Like, and then there was a clear shift where anytime we were together, it was you coming here.
We were at our house with our kids.
I never even like, not once have I ever thought like, man, I'm tired of going over there. Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like common sense to me that you guys have children and you have a home, and it would be like way more inconvenient for y'all to go find a sitter than it would be for me to just come over there. And it's not like your kids are bad or anything. Like, I don't mind being around your kids, so why not just come over here? It's like we don't have to go out and go somewhere and spend some money that we don't have. Let's just sit there and watch TV. Like, I don't know. Like that just makes sense to me. Like, and it goes to DJing as well, because I don't know when this became a reality for me, but I've been teaching Reva this. Shout out to Don't Fret. That if you only are trying to get your friends to buy into your career, then you're doing it wrong. Like I never really ask my friends like, "Hey, are you coming to my thing?" Like you see it, you know what's going on. If you can make it, you make it. If you can't, you can't. I don't put the burden of you guys validating our friendship by doing things.
God, do we appreciate that?
Like, I mean, because that's just wild. Like,
we appreciate that.
I don't know. Like, that just seems. You don't have to go get a sitter to prove to me that we're friends. Like,
but I think one of the things that I will say that I felt like, if anything, it speaks to our effort in how much we value you is when you ran your half marathon and we were like trying to figure out where you were so we could hold up the banners to
definitely
show like your support and have the kids there, because you've also been a part of our kids' life. Like, you know, so they know you as Bern. They look forward to seeing you just as much as we do. And you're the only you're outside of our family, you're the only other person. So it's wild.
And that's a really good example, because when I sit back, all the things that come to mind are Bern's always coming over here. Bern's taking the time out of, you know, his day. You know, we try to make it entertaining and fun and relaxing while you are here, but you know,
sure the dog
sometimes
doesn't hump your leg.
Yeah, but sometimes dogs do hump your leg, or the kids are like, Bern, let me show you this. Let's play this game. Let's do this. Let's do that. So, but then I guess I don't always think of like those moments of, all right, we notice that you're being intentional with your time. So we figure out, okay, how can we be intentional with our time? And what you said, it is so difficult. Like, just to think of, all right, we're going to go hang out with somebody else. We got to, especially early on with a car seat and all that, like that used to be crazy. It used to be so like deflating to just think of leaving the house.
right.
So to have somebody that was like, no, I'll come through.
Right.
It was so important. So you've had these situations not only with us, but with other friends and best friends that you grew up with, and a bunch of relationships. How does that look for other people as well?
I really can't think of anybody that I know that once they got married, that the relationship, our friendship suffered. Like I said, we might not talk as much, but it's because like I don't have kids and I'm not married, so we might not have the same things in common. So, or like I said, like I might have free time where other people won't because they have responsibilities. So I think it's just an understanding of like, you know, our friendship is not defined on what
It's undefined.
We do. It's undefined.
Oh God.
No, it's just understanding and communication and respect. There's somebody, here's a prime example. This is somebody I've known since 8th grade, and we used to date. We don't date no more, obviously. But they live in a different city. We only talk on either one of our birthday when we text each other. But every time I go to DC, like I'll go hang out with her, and it's all good. It's like we never lost any strides. And like I said, it's not because of like. I don't take offense that we don't talk every day, because like, we both got a lot going on. When we do talk, we catch up, and you know the love is still there. You know, so
I think also though, what I've identified in my relationships is that people's expectations of you are different in each relationship, and that's exhausting.
yeah.
Because you can't be married, have children, and then have all of these friends with all of these expectations of you that aren't really realistic. Because if I was to accommodate their needs, that would be a full-time job.
Right.
Like, and that's not I shouldn't feel like I'm going to work to be your friend. Like it should be authentic. It should be easy. It should be fun.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things where when we get together, it's authentic, it's fun, it's easy. Though we may be catching up, there's not like this, okay, well, let me see how Bern's doing on this. Let me see, it's none of that. It's just we're here to be not only intentional with our time, but to create memories.
Yeah.
Which I think is very important versus feeling like, let me meet with this person. Look, I said meet. Let me go hang out with this person.
See, meet.
So I don't.
Like it's an obligation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never feel like it's transactional. Even when, I've been more intentional recently to try to get together in person with y'all and do brunch or breakfast. It didn't.
I'd be jealous.
It wasn't a transaction.
You mad.
It was just hanging out. And then I would come back and she'd be like, well, what's Devin doing? What's Bern got going on? I'm like, oh, we didn't talk about none of that. Like we were just kicking it, and like all that stuff nothing you're asking me came up. Like I don't know what I don't know any of that. We talked about music and other like just random stuff. And then the time was up after 2 hours, and we all had stuff that we had to go do or work to go get to. So, yeah, that's wild. Just that concept of
Side
friendship.
note, Devin, I think he really wants to spend time with you.
Yeah, you come up a lot. Because I think this is normal for us, me, you, Tenisha, and Bern. But then talking about friendships, like our relationship, like Bern said, started with me, him, and Trek. And that's just how it originated. So if you're not all involved, oftentimes it is like the three of us hanging out. So I don't know. That's why I guess I keep thinking of Trek in this podcast.
Context of friendship.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told him that too. Like, oh man, like in our relationship was built off of, he was my mentor. He was more of a mentor. Then we started working together, and it was that like we see each other every day at work. This is easy. Nothing. We went to lunch every day. We sat next to each other every day. Like friendship was easy. We traveled together, all of that together at work. And then eventually we didn't work together anymore. And that was around the same time we got married, had kids, and it was just a change. And I think we never were intentional about figuring out that life change. And I want to be more intentional about that now. But like to the relationship standpoint and to the marriage standpoint, married couples, I think, can really feel isolated sometimes. And I think we felt that before, or we could feel like people don't understand, like we talked about, like we can't just come out or come to you or do this or find sitters or pay for sitters all the time. And then we need time for each other. And then when we get a sitter, and then it's, all right, are we going to spend time together? Are we going to spend time with friends? How do we cultivate new friendships? How do we keep old friendships alive? What do y'all think people can do to navigate this like difficulty?
Or is it just us?
I think you just gotta find people that are on the same things that you're on, as far as where you are in life. That's probably the hardest part, because I got married so young. I'm sure other people y'all age just wasn't on that, and that's probably why people were like, "Oh, well, can't relate to the way you feel about this because I don't feel the same way." So I think it's important to find people that you share some commonality with, and that doesn't take away from your relationship.
That's my issue. I feel like I don't have commonalities with other people.
Yeah.
Like that's not that
or
I
they
don't.
disregard because you've been married since you were 16. You don't know anything.
It's been since high school, and like outside of work, it's been really difficult to cultivate new friendships because of what do we have in common. And then once once that one thing we have in common, once we exhaust that, like, what else is it? I don't want to keep talking about that one thing. I'm not a how about them Cowboys type of guy. Like, I'm not about to sit down and talk. I don't.
Sports me to death.
I love sports, but I'm not about to sit down with you and talk about it. And that's a really hard thing for me. And I, even going into college, I was closed off to this college that we won't speak of. I went to this private school, no free pub. I went to this private school and I said, nobody here is like me. None of these kids get it. So I immediately closed off to everybody. Didn't make any friends while I was in college.
When's the last time you tried to cultivate a relationship?
It was a couple years ago.
Through me, though, on your own.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
You.
Outside of work? I don't know how.
I mean, can't you take somebody from work and then make it? For example,
No, it don't work like that.
this is funny, but so apparently there's a Call of Duty mobile game, and everybody at my job plays it on the break. So now I was like, okay, add me in the clan. So now I play it on there, and now the people I play with, we have something in common to talk about. And so one of the guys actually has a gym in his garage. He lives in Grove City. Now I'm probably not driving out there, but he has a gym in his garage. He's like, whenever you want to come over work out, let me know. So I guess that would be the next step into cultivating a relationship outside of work, would be to take that step. Yeah. And I'm kind of hesitant about it, to be honest.
Why?
I don't know why. Like, I feel like I got enough friends.
That's true. That's true.
You gotta add something else to the mix.
I'm just like, I'm cool. Like, like,
I don't need nothing else.
ain't nothing wrong with him. Like,
I wish I had that problem. This whole podcast has been, it's secretly been a way for me to get new friends. So comment, subscribe. I need some friends. But I don't think work friends are like cultivating friendships through work is the issue. And maybe I just have like a blockage there. I do have really good friends that I work with.
You gotta do stuff outside of work?
And yeah, sometimes. I mean, not a lot, but
when it's available.
Yeah, when time is available, for sure. And those friendships are growing, and I believe they're gonna flourish.
And all my friendships start from work, and then they cultivate outside of work. Like the New Orleans trip, that was a work friend, and that cultivated and grew, and we went to New Orleans together, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah,
and we're still friends.
What's the last new friend you made?
I guess that's for some reason I discount that, and I don't know if it's because
I wouldn't discount it.
I don't know if it's because our relationship together, like work, my job has sometimes been a sticking point, or like issues come up just because of the time that I already spend with people at work, and then it's like, you about to go spend more time with them. You were just with them for 10 days. So maybe I disregard some of that. I do appreciate and value my work friends, but I guess that's how the rest of the world makes friends, is at work. It's not because I'm not going out to like the bars on the weekends and just standing and waiting on some guy to walk up. Like, I mean, I do get casual, like when I have a really nice beard most of the time. I do have dudes approach me and say, you got a really nice beard. But I don't know.
We're not gonna.
That ain't
that's like the jump off point for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I do have good friends that I work with, best friends that I would call some of them, that, that's growing and continuing to grow. And we have issues like all friends. And I think that adds in a difficult dynamic, is the superiority relationship. Like if I'm everybody's manager, how does the friendship, like it can be a sticky situation sometimes, or with people that are above me. So I'm just not at a job where like we're all at the same level. Like when me and Devin worked together, it was just we were the same, and that's just how it always was. And we never had to. There was never a point of like contention. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Fact check, contention.
Yeah, it's a word.
So I don't know if it's a word in that context.
Y'all know any of your neighbors?
No.
Why you say like?
No.
they're super weird.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast. We should do a podcast on
Do you know your neighbors?
Do you know your neighbors?
Oh man, one of them, the one over there tried to run over Ava.
Not
on her
tried
bike.
to, but
She
just
almost did.
wasn't remorseful about almost running over
Yeah.
our daughter. And the ones on the other side here, there's about 6 women that live there and 36 kids
And no men.
So we know.
It sounds like
Sounds like
factory.
something. Sounds like something. And now they got a little mixed girl living there, and everybody else is white. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But maybe we can get her on mixing it up. Maybe we can mix it up with her.
How do you feel living over there? Are you safe?
I need to come up with a signal. I'm gonna just give her the eye one day. So yeah, I mean, anything else? You got questions? Tenisha?
I guess my only question for Bern would be, what mindset do you have to have when you have friends that are married and you value the relationship that you have with them, but understand that things may change?
When you have people that you are really your friends and you really care about them, you should be considerate towards them and know that, you know, no matter what you have going on, they got kids. So that's probably more important. And I don't know. I guess like whenever I have kids, they're gonna be number one priority.
Yes.
So I expect everybody else to have that same priority.
Have kids.
And so that's why
I hope you
I
have
don't trip.
I hope your child has a beard at like 4 years old.
Pop out with a beard. Listen, you might. No hair though, but yeah, it's just being knowing how to communicate and respecting people's time, and just knowing that it's not always about me. You know, it's not about. I'm low maintenance though. A lot of people are. A lot of people aren't.
That's a good point.
So yeah, just. And I like I said, I think it also helps that because I actually want to be in a relationship and marry and have kids one day. And if somebody that doesn't want to go down that path, they probably don't want to be around that type of environment, because this is not something that they want to do. So it's like, I don't know. Like I don't think that way. So it's hard for me to like picture that, but that's probably what it is for some people.
Yeah.
For sure, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Oh, I also want to add, friendships in general, like you gotta, once you realize that you ain't gotta change somebody's mind on something and you just accept them for who they are, friendships are so much better.
Yes.
Cause I have friends that are, anytime you bring up a relationship, they're all anti-relationship. They're gonna die alone. They don't want to bring kids into this world. And I don't even want to argue with them no more. I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's talk about something else.
Right.
So it's like, I think friendships in general will be better off if people just realize that as long as you're not harming somebody or yourself, you can believe whatever you want. And I'm not gonna, like, rather than try to change your mind, I'm gonna just accept you for who you are, and I know what to expect from you.
That's good.
Cool. Well, I just want to thank you for coming here to mix it up with us today.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. You are. Shout out to Bern, man. He is.
Shout out to Devin for introducing us to Bern.
For sure. Shout out to all of those late nights DJing and learning how to DJ. Me learning how to DJ after you've been carrying around the wooden crate for a couple years, and just all the experiences. I'm excited to continue our friendship over these next years and continue to have new experiences. We always talk about, like, we can't wait till Bern is in a relationship.
Yes, I
and
can't wait.
Yeah, so and just always your willingness to take the step out and be so unselfish and coming to us, meet us where we're at, so we can continue to grow our friendship.
And understand that it's not personal.
For sure. So,
Of course.
wow. Undefined entertainment.
Thank you for coming.
Is that everything? I feel like I missed if you listen to this and you feel some kind of way, it's probably you. You should have a better approach about your friendships in general, not specific to any one of us three, but reach out more. Like, don't wait for the other person to reach out to you. Reach out, and the person that responds the way you want to respond, just think to yourself, they probably got something going on. It's all good. We'll just try again later.
Well,
don't take everything personally.
Yeah, and I think we live in a society where it's all about you, and it's not.
It's really not.
It's not all about you, and it's selfish to think that everything that someone says is directly about you.
I'm a giver, so I'm not really a selfish type. I like to give. So it ain't gotta be about me. Even on like special occasions or whatever, it's not about me. Also, don't have kids with somebody you don't like. Don't marry somebody you don't like. Find out why you like somebody before you decide to have kids with them or marry them.
You speaking.
A lot of marriages out of convenience. You hear that from me though.
Yes.
You can tell you don't like your husband or wife.
Yep.
Why you did it? You did it for the ceremony.
Thank you for listening to Mix It Up with Kevin and Tenisha. Make sure you listen, like, and subscribe. Follow us on IG at Kevin and Tenisha. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for mixing up with my mom and dad.